Hi guys, as in the last lecture, we discussed the functions used in Python. If you haven't seen any videos from the playlist of Learning Python, then you can check it out using the I button in the upper right corner of your screen. So today we'll see something called as errors and its handling. Error handling. So basically what is error handling? Let us take an example. So let's print the division of 23 divided by 0. So if we run this, so we get here a 0 division error, means we are dividing something by 0, which in math is an infinity. So in the Python code or the programming language, it is an error because anything divided by 0 is not defined. So this is one type of error, 0 division error. So you can also see if we add string to a integer, then we can see that we get a type error because this is a string and this is a integer. So can only concatenate string, not integer. They have mentioned what we are doing. So we are concatenating string to an int. So we are getting an error. So there are such many types of errors which are defined in the Python language. So these are, you can see here, key error, tab error, input output error means IO error, name error, OS error means operating system error, type error, this is a data type error which we saw earlier. This is end of file error which we will see in our further lectures. This is index error, value error. These all are different types of errors. So when we encounter an error, we can handle it using some statements which are declared in the Python. So to handle these errors, there are some special statement declared in the Python which we will use. So that is try, then a colon indentation, and the function we are performing where we have a doubt that it may give an error. So let's take this and then accept, and which error we want, 0 division error. So we can give that, then add a colon, and then we can print here some message which we have to give if this 0 division error occurs. So we can print give another number. Other than 0. So if we run this code, so here we get give another number other than 0. So here it print this statement only. So what does this does? If we catch any error here, so instead of giving a 0 division error such as, so if we comment this and then run, we will get a 0 division error and division by 0, that all stuff. But when we use this try and accept statement, you can see that we are getting just this statement. So as we learned in the if and else statement, if this condition becomes true, then only this will occur. Similarly, so this statement also works same as a if statement. So while we are trying to do some task in this try statement, so we try to do something, and if we got any error, and we mentioned here that if we met the 0 division error, then we have to do this. So we can give many such errors and different statement for different errors, such as let's take name error and then print declare it first, and let's take x instead of 0 and then run. So here we got declare it first, as here name error occurs. If we comment this and then if we change this to X and then run, so we'll get name error. So as I said, as we use in the if statement, if this become true, then only the statements will execute. Similarly here, while we are trying this, if these statements or set of statement throw any error, so let's take in print with 23 divided by 0 also, and then see. So we can get the first give another number then 0. Just this is printed. Why? Because while we are seeing, so as we discussed in the previous lectures, that Python is an interpreted language. So while checking this, Python will first execute this, then this statement, and when it sees an zero division error, then it directly goes to here and then do this set of function. So as we have declared zero division error as give another number other than 0, it will just print that and leave it as try and accept completes, and then it comes out of this statement. So as we saw in the for and while loop, we use the break statement to break out the loop. Similarly here, it checks an first error, then it checks except for the first error, and then it directly exits the conditions. So here the orders are important. So if we give the first division error, then we will get division error first only. If we then comment this and then run, so we will get the division error first. So therefore condition directly stops there. So this is the try and accept statement. So here we can see different types of errors and write different messages for different errors. So what if we have to do some specific task for some set of errors? So we can use comma and then specify the statements, such as if we type here name error and then run. So here we have to give one parenthesis. So here we got give another number for both the zero division error and name error. So this is the usage of try and accept. So here we can also use a third statement, which is finally, which will execute as in the format of else. As let's consider this as if, and this set of task will give some condition, means true or false. Like here we get errors. So if these errors are found in the except statement, then it will execute this. And finally, as we use else statement, here it will print, or it will do the task mentioned here mandatorily after doing each try and accept. So finally will occur every time, even if the error occurs or it doesn't occur. So here let's type mandatory and then execute. So mandatory will execute always. So let's clear all the errors, and then you can see here the print statement worked correctly and no errors were found here. So except statement didn't work. But finally will, as I said, finally will always work even the condition throws an error or doesn't throw. So we got here the mandatory statement. So finally then we have to do some set of tasks we can do here. So let's take an example of handling and name error. So let's take a try statement and then use a calculation of sum is equal to 1 plus x, and then accept name error. If this name error occur, we have to assign x equal to 1. So why does name error is occurring? Because x is not predefined. As we learnt in the variables that any variable should be assigned to something, as this sum is assigned to 1 plus x. But here x is not assigned to anything, so it will throw an error. And except statement will catch that error and then execute this. And finally we have to finally we will again do the same set of tasks and then print the sum and then execute this. So now we will get a 2. Why? Because now the x is assigned to the value of 1. So sum is equal to 1 plus 1 as x is 1, and then we will get sum as 2. So sum, when we print the sum, we get the answer as 2. So here finally statement will execute even if we change this to this, and then let's change this to 5 and then run. So here finally we got an error. So if we change this to 1, then we will get 2. Why? Because we haven't used a print here. So if we print sum here also, then we will get 5 plus 1 6 here, and then this 1 plus 1 2. Let's comment this. So here we will get 5 plus 1 6. The name error doesn't occur. So while you are creating your own programs using Python or some application using Python, you have to create your own errors based on your programs. So we can also do that using Python. So let's comment this out and then create a function of printing 2 plus 2. So we can raise any error. So let's raise a name error and then run this file. So the print statement executed and gave the answer as 4, and then as we used this keyword raise, it raised a name error. So raise means creating an error. So if we remove this and just execute this, so it will raise a name error. So we can also define some message which we have to define after the name error. Name was not declared. So if we run this, so you will get here name was not declared. So similarly, if let's assume a function where we have to use calculate and then take an variable and then print that variable a only if type of a equal to int, then only we have to print this a. So let's call this cal and then give an a as 9. So here we got 9. If we pass string, then it will throw an error. Let's create our own error such as else raise type error, and we will print a is not, so parameter is not an int. So if we run this, so here we are getting name error because this is s is not defined. If we put the string, then here you can see that we got an type error of parameter is not an int. So as we raised an type error, and pass the message as parameter is not an int, because here we are checking if and only if type of A means A has a data type of int, then only print A, else we have to raise an error. So we call this function using a string, so it raised an type error. So if we pass an integer, then it will not raise an error. So let's take any other, so it will not raise an error. But if we will pass any other data type, then it will raise an error, because true is an boolean value, so type of true is bool, so there we can raise an error. So this is raising of an error. So we have something called as assertion. So it is also a type of error handling technique where we use it to check whether it happens or not. It is type of an toggle, so we can on and off it anytime we want. So let's assert, and here we have to mention some condition. Let's mention that 2 is greater than 1. So if this occurs, then print some value greater than. So let's print. So here as 2 is greater than 1, so this condition holds true. So we printed this statement. If we change this to 10 and then occur, then we get an assertion error. So this is a type of sanity check where we can check some codes or conditions. If this is true, then it will execute the further set of instructions, but if this is false, so Python automatically raised an assertion error. So similarly we can check many assertions as assert 2 plus 2 is equal to 4, then we have to print yes. So if it isn't that, so assert 3 is equal to 4, then it's not true, so we will print no. So let's execute. So here as this is true, we printed this yes, but as here the condition is false, so this set of instruction didn't perform. So we can create some functions where we have to check some conditions and then only do the further step, else we have to return or do something else. So for such condition, this assertion statement is very necessary in the error handling or exception handling. This is all for this video. You can check the other videos and the whole playlist appearing on the screen.